Okay, we're back with another episode of the Lonely Stoner podcast. I'm Seth,
I'm Evan.
and we're back. Obviously, fallout from 316. Do you want to talk about that, Evan? You want to kick it off?
Yeah, let's switch it up. Let's start with the main event first of all.
Okay.
I will admit I did kind of skim through the fight because I just had such a strong feeling Merab was going to win. So I didn't watch it all in complete detail, but the first two rounds seemed to be somewhat competitive and close-ish. And then the third round was sort of like Merab was getting the takedowns, right? And then he sort of just got a position. He got like a Darce Anaconda type position in the third round. And then O'Malley kind of like flipped and they ended up in north-south. And it was more of like a north-south like guillotine kind of.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a weird choke, but I mean, it was tight enough for O'Malley to tap and give Merab another title defense. And he's finished this one. He's finished this fight. So you can't have that many people complaining now.
It's true. It's true. I think naturally, like the longer Merab fights a guy like Sean O'Malley, like the more chance there is that he's going to finish him. Like Merab's basically taken O'Malley's best shots over 5 rounds, and then...
I think most people might have said the opposite. That the more time O'Malley has with Merab, the more likely he is to finish him because of each fighter's finishing potential. Merab doesn't finish many fights, but O'Malley finishes a lot of fights. Supposedly,
it's true. It's true, but I just think Merab, the nature of Merab's fighting, like, he just breaks you down, innit?
Yeah.
And even though, like you said, the first 2 rounds were pretty competitive, but even from the first round, when I'm seeing Merab getting his hands on Sean, I'm like, because even in these grappling exchanges, he's probably taken like quite a bit out of Sean O'Malley. And when you're a striker, even though Sean's power looks like it does carry all 5 rounds, you know, of course he's gonna have some toll on you. He's gonna take his toll on you, right? And then, like you said, come the third round, I thought it was like a north-south choke when it happened initially, but what choke did they say it was? Like a ninja choke.
Is that where it went down as?
I think so, something like that.
It probably would have either been like a neck crank, or a ninja choke, or something. Sometimes they call it like a Bravo choke or something.
Okay.
Let me find out what it officially went down as.
Yeah.
North-south choke, apparently.
Oh, okay. That's what.
It's what it looked like.
I mean, in fact, that is what it looks like. That's what I thought it was, but they weren't calling it that on the broadcast.
I think maybe because that's not how it started. You know, they weren't in north-south and then he went to choke, because he sort of went for the choke and then they ended up in north-south. But it looked like a north-south choke.
Yeah, I did.
No, but very good win for Merab. I mean, O'Malley has to do so much to get back to a title shot now. Yeah. He's lost 2 fights in a row, both of them being title shots. You know, same situation as Adesanya, where if these guys want a title shot, especially because of the contenders in each division, you know, it's going to take a lot for them to come back and get another title shot. But
yeah, I mean,
great win for Merab.
Yeah, as long as Merab's champ, I don't see Sean getting another title shot. Even if he goes on a streak, which who knows if he can even do? Because like, if you look at the top of the division, to be fair, he's still a pretty elite striker. He's still an elite striker, but
I think he's definitely got people to fight. You know, a rematch with Piotr Yan, maybe like Corey Sandhagen, Davison Figueiredo, Umar Nurmagomedov. There's a lot of matchups, a lot of people left to fight for O'Malley. Yeah. So it's not as if, you know, he can't get back to that title shot in a couple of fights, but he's definitely going to need to beat 1 or 2 top 5 guys.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, but even then, do you even fancy him to do that? Because I don't know if I fancy him to beat Umar. He went to a close fight with Peter Yan already. Corey Sandhagen, I think he could beat. Figueiredo, I think he could beat. So, depending on the matchmaking, then
it would be hard because, I mean, when we look at how we ended up getting the title, it kind of was like a cherry-picked path for him. He did avoid 100%. A lot of the really bad matchups.
Yeah.
And now I feel like there's almost no choice but to put him against, you know, the quote bad matchups for him, like an Umar. I think fighting an Umar would be great because he's again taken very little damage in this fight against Merab. Umar's going to be getting sort of ready to fight soon, so that'd be a great fight to put together.
Yeah.
And then if either of those guys win, Yeah, they fight once a year for sure, and they never fight each other. But I think whoever wins that, so that leaves them sort of maybe one good win away from another title shot. So
Yes, definitely.
that should be a fight both of them should definitely look for.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, what's the co-main event? Oh yeah,
Kayla
Harrison pretty much did what we predicted her to do.
Yeah,
just sort of dominating the grappling and then eventually, find a submission.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly that. That's going to be Kayla Harrison's path to victory for basically all of her fights, though. And because she's so much bigger than all these chicks, she can do that to them. So she's living life.
Yeah, and that's about it really. Because women's bantamweight is so cooked as well. I mean, she should really be running through anybody they give her. We were in 2024 and 2025 having Raquel Pennington and Juliana Pena as champions.
Bro, don't even remind me, G.
These girls are fighting in the Ronda Rousey era.
Yeah, fuck yeah, they really were.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Because what season of The Ultimate Fight was Juliana Pena on?
Oh, that had to be like one of the first ones for women.
Yeah, because I'm sure she won it, didn't she?
I know she was in the UFC before. Yeah, she won it, and I know she was in the UFC before they had the Reebok sponsorships.
Damn. Those were the good old days, innit? When you could take TRT and actually have sponsorships.
For real. Now it's just some whitewashed sport.
Everyone's just an NPC.
Yeah, for real. Now, speaking of what was the next fight? Want to make sure Oh yeah, no. It was Joe Pyfer and Kelvin Gastelum.
Oh, okay. Man with the grinder, innit? Pyfer with the grinder.
No, this fight was kind of like dead. I'm not gonna lie. Did you see anything from this fight?
I didn't see this fight still.
Well, Joe Pyfer dropped him really badly, like 2 or 3 times in the first round, and looked like he was very close to finishing him in the first round. And then after that, he sort of like started respecting Kelvin a bit, and Kelvin was swinging wildly and not really landing with much at all. And he just these sort of wild, slappy punches. But Joe Pyfer didn't really seem to feel the need to become too aggressive in the second and third rounds. And yeah, he just one judge gave. It was weird because there were 3 different scorecards. It was a 29-28 for Joe Pyfer, a 29-27 for Joe Pyfer, and a 30-27 for Joe Pyfer.
Okay.
So 2 of the judges had Kelvin winning a round, which probably would have been the third round, which was the closest. But again, it's a lot of Kelvin just swinging with these slapping punches, barely landing, if at all. But I guess it kind of looks like he's landing combinations, so that's why they might have given him that round. But he quite an easy Joe Pyfer victory. Should have knocked him out in the first round, to be honest. But that's the way it goes sometimes.
I mean, Kelvin Gastelum, this is just the way he fights.
Yeah, definitely. It's just the way he fights. It's just he doesn't really have size on these middleweights to be out grappling them like that. No. And his striking, he has decent speed for a middleweight, but he doesn't have power.
Yeah,
and of course his height and reach is such a disadvantage at middleweight as well. So it's really hard for him. But like, to be fair, like having a somewhat kind of competitive fight with Joe Pyfer at this point in his career, that's not the worst thing. If he'd have got knocked out in the first round, then that would have been it for him. But you lose a decision where 2 of the judges gave you a round, it doesn't look as bad as it could have. Yeah,
it's true.
And Joe Pyfer probably try getting back with a number 10 to 15 ranked fighter. Obviously, when he fought Hermansson, it didn't really go well for him. Maybe you don't give him a rematch of Hermansson. Give him someone in that 10 to 15 because middleweight is awful, man. He should definitely be able to beat a couple of guys in that range.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like middleweight's awful, so they're definitely trying to look for guys that are up and coming. Like you said, Joe Pyfer should be finding someone in that sort of range. Even if Kelvin Gastelum won that fight, he'd probably be looking at someone in that range because it's so.
Middleweight's just middleweight is horrible.
Yeah,
but no, he could definitely fight like a Roman Kopylov, Paulo Costa if he's still fighting. And Abbas Magomedov, who just made his way into the rankings recently, or even like a Brendan Allen or something. These guys are like just these middleweight NPCs.
Yeah, oh, they really are.
Yeah, no. What I was going to say is talking about NPCs. Patchy Mix looking like a real NPC in the octagon.
Yeah,
This brother frustrated me so much. Did you
Yeah.
see any of his fight?
I saw a bit. I saw some of the highlights still.
What did you think of his performance?
It was weird. Like what? I just didn't do much, innit? Like you're thinking, what are you gunshot? What are you scared of? Like Mario Batista's not a big puncher like that. I mean, unless you're just that scared of getting taken down. But you're looking at his resume, like,
A
you're a
guy
pretty
with
good grappler.
like 13 submission victories.
Yeah, you should be
Like, this
afraid of
guy
getting
should
taken down.
not be afraid of the grappling.
But he's fighting like he is, and then you sort of look at his resume. Like when you see a performance like that, it makes you look back on his resume and you're like, bro, was this guy ever that good?
Yeah,
That's
I
the sort of
think
performance it was.
I was watching MMA Guru's stream, and I think he kind of said it best, where you're fighting on the regional scene, even if you're a world champion Bellator, because you're never coming up against sort of the creme de la creme of your weight class, you plateau at a certain skill level. And so when a guy like him comes into the UFC, even though he has a lot of finishes and attractive record, multiple time world champion in Bellator in this division, but we kind of have to realize that the level of people that he's fighting outside the UFC, like the best guys he's fighting outside the UFC, are at best like just about ranked in the UFC. So when he comes up against an actual good fighter like Mario Batista, I mean, I would happily admit that I overestimated Patchy Mix's skills.
Yeah,
because he didn't look very good at all. But I feel like
been inactive for a while as well.
Yeah, I think him and Batista have had about the same sort of layoff since their last fight, about a year. Yeah.
No way. It's been a year since he fought Aldo.
Yeah, I think it's been about a year.
Damn, no, I'm cooked. No,
not a year. It's like
we definitely had the podcast.
No, it was in October.
Okay, so the podcast was fresh. Okay,
it was in October. He beat Aldo.
And
Patchy Mix last fought in May of 2024.
Okay, so not a ridiculous layoff for him. I thought it would have been a bit longer than that, but only a year. You can't really blame
ring rust or anything like that.
Rust, you can't really blame that.
No, he just came in. He was not moving his feet, barely moving his feet, not moving his head at all. I mean, let's be honest. Like Mario Batista isn't some next level Zen striker, like cutting angles and doing craziness on the feet. He's not. He's just rushing in with his 1-2 and jab and right to the body. He was ripping that over and over and over again. And Patchy Mix never moved his head, never moved his feet from the body shot. Didn't try to throw any other counter shot other than a check hook, which was always very slow and late, and it never connected. He just looked like multiple steps behind out there. He just looked multiple steps behind.
Yeah. And it could always be like I said about these other guys coming from other promotions into the UFC and like their first fight in the UFC that doesn't go well. Like I think Anthony Pettis lost to Clay Guida on his UFC debut after being like champion in WEC. He lost to a guy like Clay Guida who's pretty dead, right? And then obviously Anthony Pettis would go on to have a really good UFC career, become lightweight champion and everything. Maybe it's the same with Patchy Mix, where he's come into the UFC. His first fight wasn't very good, but he's been there. Now he can sort of kick on. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, obviously I don't necessarily want to see him fight a ranked opponent next because getting dealt with the way he did by Mario Batista, without Mario Batista there was very little grappling exchanges in this fight. It was essentially a kickboxing fight, which Patchy Mix got completely schooled by Mario Batista. I mean, one of the judges gave Patchy Mix a round. I have no idea where they've pulled that out from. I mean, Mario Batista comfortably won every round. Comfortably. Yeah. Activity, damage, everything.
Wow.
It was a good win for Mario Batista. I'm not going to hate on him and say, I don't love Patchy Mix. I don't even really know anything about him, but I mean, Mario Batista definitely needs to be getting a top 10 ranked opponent now.
I think when you look back on Patchy Mix's career, and you look at his best wins, they're against two flyweights, I believe. Gucci and
Sergio Pettis, yeah.
Well, both guys who in the UFC, which is the highest level, were flyweights. So
and even Sergio Pettis wasn't even a very good one at that.
Yeah, at least Horiguchi was like a top
Title
contender.
yeah.
And I
But no,
remember at
it's
the time
disappointing.
I remember at the time Horiguchi left the UFC. He was probably 1 or 2 fights away from a title shot.
Yeah, no, he was still up there.
Yeah,
Because obviously flyweight was what it was with Demetrius Johnson up there, but he was definitely like in the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
No, it's disappointing. I was hoping we were going to have a bit of new blood with Patchy Mix coming in and getting a bit of a statement victory against someone that the fans hate, but
if only.
I mean, it's like our boy MMA Guru said, and it just predict the most boring thing possible, and that's probably what's going to happen.
Oh man, sad but true, isn't it?
And then your boy Kevin Holland submitted
bro.
Vicente Luque.
Oh, he's back.
He looked fucking good, man. He looked good.
Oh, he's back.
I can't even hate on my boy.
He needs someone in the top 10 now, bro. Hey, this guy, G.
No, yeah, he'll have a ranking next to his name in the welterweight division.
Yeah.
But like, it's one of those ones with Kevin Holland. Like, he's just not going to beat certain guys.
No, he's not. But
he's just not going to beat certain fighters.
I think Kevin Holland's accepted that, though.
Yeah, I think we've known for a while that Kevin Holland's pretty much his plan for his career is to just get in there as much as he can and make as much money as he can. That's why. Why do you think a lot of the time he loses, you can clearly see that he's just like, oh, I'm going to lose, so let me just quit, sort of thing. Like when I'm playing a game of FIFA online, like I go 1-0 down and I can just tell that it's going to get techie, so I just rage quit because I'm like, why waste the time?
Yeah,
that's what he does. He's just like, let me just get out of here. Get beat back in the octagon in like 8 weeks, get straight back into another camp, make my money, and just fight again. I mean, that's clearly what he's on, which you have to respect, but it's why he'll never be champ.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Holland's probably thinking, if I win, great, I get paid more money. If I lose, hopefully I don't take too much damage so I can have a quick turnaround, get back in there. Exactly, and get paid.
Let's quickly match him up against all of the welterweights because, like, weirdly, in your head, you'd think he'd beat a lot of them, right?
Okay.
MVP would be. I mean, he already fought MVP. And he lost.
MVP already beat him. Yeah.
It was just a bit of a whack fight. But he beat Luque. Yeah. He probably doesn't beat Prates.
No.
I reckon he beat Stephen Thompson. Have they fought?
They've already fought. Stephen Thompson already beat him.
Yeah, I think Kevin Holland would beat him now, though.
Yeah, low-key.
Jeff Neal. Has he fought Jeff Neal?
I don't think so, no.
To be fair, that might be a tough fight.
Yeah, I think Jeff Neal would probably beat him up as well. I can't lie.
But Jeff Neal, you're flipping a coin on what Jeff Neal is going to step in. If it's shit Jeff Neal, then Kevin Holland would definitely win.
Yeah.
But if it's like good Jeff Neal.
If it's Jeff Neal that really comes to fight, then Kevin Holland could have his hands full still.
Who's next? Gilbert Burns. Did he already fight Gilbert Burns?
He may have done, but again, Gilbert Burns now, I think he could beat Gilbert Burns now.
I think he'd beat Gilbert Burns now. He's not fought Gilbert Burns, I don't think. He's had so many fights. You really like did he fight that guy? Colby, I think he'd beat Colby.
Yeah.
Michael Morales would probably win.
You know what? No, I think he would still. I think Michael Morales would win.
I actually think that's kind of closer than
it is close.
Jeff Neal, Prates.
Yeah. Michael Morales technically isn't, in my opinion, anything crazy.
No, I think his record makes him look a lot better than he seems to be when he fights.
Yeah. Not
to take away from his skill because he's in the top 10 at welterweight for a reason.
No, true.
But then after Michael Morales, you got Buckley, who Holland already knocked out.
Yeah, but at 170,
it's a different Buckley. Buckley, right?
Buckley looks a lot better now than when he fought Kevin Holland at middleweight.
And then you have Ian Gary. Ian Gary with, right?
Yeah,
probably fairly comfortably. And then you have Usman. Holland has a chance to beat Usman at this point.
But this is the problem with the UFC because Usman should not be ranked this highly.
No, he's still in the top 5.
That's ridiculous.
What was his last win? Actually?
Exactly, bro. Since he started his podcast, he's 0-3.
What was his last win? What was his last title defense before getting knocked out?
Colby 2, probably.
Yeah, Colby, then before that, Jorge Masvidal. Yeah. His last win was in 2021.
And he's ranked in the top 5. Like this is the problem with UFC rankings.
Nearly 4 years ago.
You know what I mean? Usman for me, the thing is,
Could a top level boxer not fight for even 18 months and still be ranked?
bro, Manny Pacquiao hasn't won in like 6 years and he's getting a world title fight.
Yeah, it's mad.
Imagine that. You didn't win for 6 years. To be fair, he's fighting someone who's probably the best, not best, probably like the most winnable fighter for Manny.
But when you think about it, though, like any top boxer would love to get Manny Pacquiao on their resume.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Anyone like would love to fight Pacquiao.
Yeah.
But a guy like Usman is like a welterweight legend, but it's not one of them ones where like, yeah, I have to fight Usman.
Nah.
Like even if he is robbed or hasn't won in ages or hasn't fought in ages, it's not one of them ones like I have to fight Usman.
Yeah, no, he's not got that legendary status yet. Well, not yet. He probably never will have it at this point now.
Call me crazy, but I think Kevin Holland beats Leon Edwards.
He could, because he would get more busy than Leon Edwards.
In a 3-round fight, I think Kevin Holland would win. In a 5-round fight, it's techie.
The thing is, because Kevin Holland's striking, because he's so long, he's giving anyone problems. Particularly if you're not like an out-and-out grappler. If you're not like Hamzat, where like even MVP beat him, but MVP is tricky.
MVP is one of the best strikers in the UFC. And I feel like when Kevin Holland respects somebody and he's not aggressive, that's more time when he loses as well. Like you could tell what he did try against MVP, but he did respect him at the same time.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, because MVP, in terms of the
wasn't that his UFC debut as well?
MVPs, yeah.
Yeah.
A guy like MVP, he gives you so many different looks. Like
he's so fast.
At that point, Kevin Holland's probably just not trying to become a meme still.
Yeah, low key, innit?
He's not.
I think that's what it is, though. He's like, yeah, let me go in there, MVP, get paid, not get violated, and then move on.
Yeah, bro.
And I think it's one of them ones as well. It's gonna sound weird, but you lose so many times, it kind of just becomes irrelevant, and it doesn't matter.
Especially when he's not like getting stopped. He's not like getting violently knocked out.
No, he's not getting like he's just losing.
Yeah, for real.
No, but the next ones, I really think Kevin Holland just has zero chance against, and that's Shavkat, Sean Brady, Bilal, and Jack Della.
Yeah.
He really just has zero chance against those guys. But weirdly, there's a couple bad matchups in there, but I think he actually would have a decent chance against a lot of these welterweights.
You reckon Kevin Holland could be potentially top 10 at welterweight?
The thing is, I don't think he can put together a good enough streak to get in the top 10. I personally think whoever he fights next, he'll lose against.
Just because it's just written in the script, isn't it?
It's just the way it goes for him.
Yeah.
It's just the way it seems to be. Man's on a like, think about it, like it was not that long ago he fought Rene Derrida and lost, and now he's on a win streak.
I remember that as well. Yeah.
That was in January.
Oh, you gotta respect it. 3 fights in 6 months. That's mad respect, you.
He's been on that. It's crazy. He's had more UFC fights than John Jones.
That's mad.
That is mad, isn't it?
Could you imagine?
He made his MMA debut 10 years ago, and he's had 42 fights. 42. So do the maths. 4.2 fights a year.
Very active. He's paid, man. He's getting paid.
That's what it's about. Like at the end of the day, like for me, as a fighter, your goal should be to be as good as you possibly can be. But at the same time, if someone says to me, "I do it for a job, I do it to get paid," like, I can respect that.
Especially
like a guy like Kevin Holland, who will fight anyone, will fight the second he's ready.
Like the thing. Well, I don't mind it because he's not getting like fucked up in his fights. He's not getting like brutally knocked out in the first round. Like when he's fighting, even if he loses, he might get submitted or go like a 3-round decision. You know, he's not getting battered in these fights. If he was going out there turning up like every couple of months and just getting slept in the first round, you're like, right, this is a bit peak now.
He's fought so many high-level guys as well.
Yeah,
he's fought so many good guys. He's fought Hamzat, Jack Della, MVP. Derrida, Delidze, Wonderboy, Derek Brunson.
Experience still.
Vittori, Buckley, Anthony Hernandez, Brendan Allen.
He's got a serious amount of experience. You can't take that away from him.
No, whatever you want to say about like his personality and him being a bit of a strange guy like he is.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to his fighting, like you have to respect him.
For real.
I think that's about it for
the main
UFC.
card,
yeah, there wasn't really anything else too interesting going on in this. Joshua Van won. Azamat Murzakanov stayed undefeated. There was a crazy, I don't know if you saw, there was a crazy knockout on the early prelims.
Oh, was it my man who like went out flat on his face?
Yeah. Yuju Sang knocked out Jakar Sarik.
Yeah,
crazy knockout. It's like
I've seen
30 seconds into the fight as well.
Oh, mad. See, I didn't even miss anything then. Nothing even happened in the fight. I was going to say, like, I ain't watched the entire fight, but it was a 30-second knockout.
It was a cold knockout.
Yeah.
Just checker because he's coming in, angle out, dude just fell flat on his face.
Yeah. No, when you see knockouts like that, it is crazy still. When you're flat on his face. I think, who said that? Floyd said that I think he said that to Conor. He said, you're going out on your back or on your face. Like, you pick which way, innit?
Yeah, you love this is what combat sports is about, though, seeing knockouts like this.
Facts.
So a man like him making his UFC grabs a little 50k bonus on his debut.
I wouldn't mind a 50k bonus right about now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if your work just emailed you and was saying, yeah, 50k bonus all up front. Yeah. I'm quitting my job there and then.
I'm probably quitting, yeah, facts. I'm out of here, G.
Quitting right there and then.
Facts.
Putting down a mortgage, are you crazy?
Bro, as soon as the check clears, isn't it?
Well, no, I guess we can talk a little bit about, even though we ain't been on the wrestling wave too much recently, but we can talk a little bit about Money in the Bank, notably the winner of the men's Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that's all I've seen from it still. I slapped it on, I skipped through the women's match, skipped through the match after that, and then I just watched the men's Money in the Bank still. And then I haven't watched anything after that.
I think, unfortunately, it was very obvious who was going to win the bank.
Yeah.
Because when you're looking at the lineup, you've got Solo, Penta, LA Knight, El Grande, Andrade, and then Seth Rollins. I mean, obviously Seth Rollins is going to win it.
Yeah. It's true.
I guess they're trying to inject interest into that storyline, but it just feels like WWE don't have really anything interesting going on right
now. No, I agree. I think, like we talked about privately on Instagram when we talked about Money in the Bank, like it should be used as a way to uplift guys that are like mid-carders, so when they can cash in Money in the Bank, they get that huge moment, become world champion, and you sort of elevate them from there. A guy like Seth Rollins shouldn't be winning Money in the Bank. A guy like Seth Rollins could be in a world title feud tomorrow.
Yeah, without the Money in the Bank briefcase.
You know what I mean? He doesn't need the Money in the Bank briefcase. Whereas there are guys who are literally in that match that could have needed that.
Like, just about literally everybody else in that match probably needed it more than needed.
Yeah.
Solo has lost a lot of momentum since Roman's been gone and the bloodline stuff has died down. Penta, who has sort of been teetering in that mid-card since his arrival. Like, he's been used quite a lot. And he does seem to be fairly popular. But he definitely could have done with a nice boost. LA Knight has been screaming out for a main event push for years now. I mean, he's not getting any younger. You know, a Money in the Bank briefcase could have made him very relevant. Have him on the weekly TV shows, getting involved, you know. He needed it. El Grande Americano, to be honest, maybe it would be, but I'd rather Seth Rollins win than him because his storyline that he's involved in right now is just very gimmicky. Just, I'm an American guy and I'm pretending to be a masked luchador and I'm beefing the luchadors sort of thing. It is what it is, and it's all right. And then Andrade as well, who I feel like has just been one of the most inconsistently used talents in the WWE since he arrived.
Bro, Loki, Andrade would have been a very good sleeper pick for this because Andrade is like the perfect example of what you get when you get a guy who's capable of putting on really good matches but has got no character. Like when he comes out, when his music hits, you could hear a pin drop. No one's cheering for him.
For real.
But But you watch his matches, he can put on a good match. He was doing it in AEW as well, but like, come on, like you need to do
Oh
something.
yeah, I think I got a fly now though.
Okay. I'll leave you to it then, G.
Yeah, the bad bitches are calling my name.
I hear it, G. Alright, bro. I'll stop recording there. Have an episode of the Lonely Stoner podcast, and we're out.
Sweet.
Cool.